and didn't get the combine invite that everyone gets. Was a little knocked off that. Was a little upset.
That's personal?
Oh, 100%. Everything's pretty personal.
Came in 70. Step in the room, I'm an elephant. Run up a bag, I ran up a bag. I gotta go count on some presidents. I'm back out the dirt, the sediment. Back with a baddie, she elegant. I'm back from the dead, I'm back from the dead. Bitch, they call me the Revenant.
Confidence high, you wanna bring me to earth. You gotta stay in control or they gon' determine your worth. Both of my parents instilling values and wisdom from birth. No, it sound foreign, neither was born on American turf. Well, the blacker the berry, then the sweeter the juice. My melanin dark, but it shine in the moon. Got a product design that you bound to consume. So you better be talking bread if you wanna commune. I'm done paying my dues, I'm making the rules. No more waiting for cues, time to make us some news. You got confused, you had me on snooze. I'm the pain of the muse, nigga with nothing to lose. Y'all been selling me short and ripping me
WARMUPS, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
And some episodes we talk shop with experts. We'll have an athlete that's building a business, and we'll bring in an interest-specific expert to talk about whatever business, whatever industry they're in. And then sometimes we'll sit with vets. We'll hear about their journey, how their stories have shaped and what their post-career / beyond sports. I literally hate saying post-career.
Yeah.
Let's say it again. We already said this. Because when you start after your career is over, growing in business,
it is too late.
You're too late. But with you, that's not a problem, right? Because you're the CEO of a startup.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that. But I want to talk a little bit about where you're from, how you got to this point, because your story is super interesting to me, and where you grew up is not far from where I've been staying the past couple of years. So without further ado, give us a little bit of background on Adam Pankey.
My name, like you said, Adam Pankey. I'm from Cincinnati area, more specifically Hamilton, Ohio. Shout out Hamilton. It's a little rougher than some of the other areas around there, but great people all around the community. Helped shape the person I am today. I'd have to say.
How'd you grow up?
I grew up single family household. Mom taking care of everything, working both sides. Grandparents involved, helping me get to point A, point B. So some really great role models on my end coming up.
That's dope. And so you played high school football?
Yeah. I started in Hamilton, stayed in Hamilton. Mom kind of pushed for me to go Catholic route, private school. I kind of fought her on it. Had a bunch of friends I always grew up with playing, and it's hard to leave the sand park if you know what I mean. So I stuck it out there, and we handled the rest. I had a great team. Colleges came in, they found me. I ended up going to West Virginia. I was originally committed to Pittsburgh before that. Coaching change happened before signing day, flipped over, went to West Virginia. They were down, showed big interest, and it was just the perfect fit for me from there.
So who you have other teammates from West Virginia that are in the league right now?
Yeah. We're scattered, really. I came in with a bunch of guys. Carl Joseph, Kaiser White, Kevin White, the brothers. We got Nick Kwiatkowski just signed.
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, my
Nick?
boy, man.
I just met Nick out in Vegas.
No shoot.
Yeah.
Do Carl Joseph, I just saw on his Instagram or something, he was running up the hill.
Yeah, man.
What's the hill?
At W Hill. It's not a hill. I gotta clarify that for everybody. It's a mountain.
Okay.
We are the Mountaineers up in West Virginia, so we got a mountain you run, and it's kind of a tradition hand down through the team. If you're a part of West Virginia, you run that hill. There's no way around it about it. I've seen it crush many a souls.
You made it up?
Oh, I made it up. I tried to hide a couple times, but I definitely made it up. You do what you can. By the end, you might just be rolling down that thing if you lose your legs. It's not even a conditioning test. It's just that get right that we're just constantly on. You got to hit it every week, add another rep on that hill. So it's a daunting task for sure, but definitely strengthens you through the process.
You go through your high school career. You get recruited to WVU, right?
Right, right.
You end up that's where you end up landing.
Yep.
Did you so you got recruited to a couple places?
Yeah. I was getting actively recruited, and like I said, was originally committed to Pittsburgh in like October. At the time, signing day was like one day, and it was February 1st. There's not these 3 and 2 day signings that they do now, so it was a little bit more of a concentrated date. And I remember getting a call, and it was Todd Graham, I think was the coach at the time, and it made Sports Center that he had just dipped out and went to Arizona State, and that's kind of how I found out too.
It was a normal day at school, and I'm just getting calls from everywhere telling me that my coach is leaving. My coach is pulling me out of class, letting me know that my coach is leaving, and I got different colleges calling my phone, wanting to try to sneak in there and see is there any way I can go there or anything. But I really kept calm and looked at the people who had already offered me because I knew that I was needed and wanted there.
Same day, West Virginia coaches were down at my school, so I was in limbo land, and
Yeah.
I had a coach right there, kind of telling me it's gonna be all right, and I felt that they had that need for me, so it was kind of easy on my end.
How does that happen? Like, how do you get recruited? You have to send emails. You have to go to camps.
Oh man, daunting list of the things that you gotta kind of do to get recruited. At the time, Hamilton wasn't really a big powerhouse, hadn't been to the playoffs since '94, so we weren't getting a whole lot of traffic through the school, and you felt that pressure to kind of go out and figure out where the junior days were. I know I took a couple trips down to NC State, couple trips up to Wisconsin.
And this is all you.
This is me and my
This
mom.
isn't your.
Just,
I was gonna say, is your
yeah,
mom like
we're-
you're
we're-
doing great, sweetie? Like,
oh no, I mean, yeah, she's
Like,
she's the number one fan, so
Right.
she's always gonna give me that, and she always gets me hyped. But I mean, we just would pack it in the car and we'd go on these 9 hour trips and head down to North Carolina, head up to Wisconsin, banging up in Wisconsin and camp. There was a rule because I guess the Ohio State Michigan rivalry back in the day, they had implemented rules for high schoolers leaving the state of Ohio that you can't equipment up and like put your shoulder pads on and helmets. And Wisconsin was one of these camps that you had to be padded up. So I would remember going through and drilling against guys having full gear, and like maybe I got like just my helmet on, and just remembering being banged up after there, bruised up and stuff. But just really just doing whatever I could to try to get my name out there, let coaches know I was serious, that I really wanted it, you know?
yeah.
Was Hamilton a smaller school in comparison to some of these big schools? Because personally, I came from a super small school.
Right.
My high school team had 14 guys on the team.
Oh man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Everybody played both ways except for the quarterback.
Oh, whoa.
That
whoa,
type of
yeah, that's-
situation.
Okay.
And being in situations like that, I know that there's not a lot of funding for recruiting coordinators and things like that. So it's a lot of things being put on you, the individual, and your parents to be able to make it happen.
For sure.
Recruited and get to the next level. Was that similar for you?
It was similar in ways, but we weren't one of the smaller schools. We're actually one of the bigger public schools in Ohio.
You still didn't have it though.
Wasn't really publicly funded really
Gotcha.
well. We had enough, if that makes sense. Definitely had enough, but wasn't one of the pipeline schools that you see for sure.
So it wasn't heavily recruited. It wasn't a heavily recruited area.
The area was pretty
okay.
heavily
So yes,
recruited.
because I live in Cincinnati, so I
Right.
know you've got the Mollers.
Oh yeah.
You've got the big school. Sam Hubbard was from Moeller.
Mhm.
Actually, weird story about Sam. We'll get him on here one day.
Yeah.
He, the way I know this is, and hopefully this is the correct way, but Sam was like a lacrosse player, and Urban came to his school and sees this big dude crushing it in lacrosse in the gymnasium, or whatever on his official Urban's official visit to Moeller.
Yeah.
And he's like, who the heck is that guy? And then that's Sam Hubbard. And I think Sam got offered right from there to go
to
play at
play
Ohio
football.
State. And now he's back at the Bengals playing for his hometown team.
Wow.
So storybook situation there.
Muller's definitely one of those.
But Muller's not
schools.
Hamilton.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
So we're getting down the road here. So you go play at WVU, and then what? Like, you were there all 4 years?
5 years. Tore my ACL freshman year in there. Didn't have adequate knee braces. After I tore my ACL, got knee braces implemented for everybody at the time. But
Also, you're a trendsetter.
oh, 100%, 100%. I take pride in that. So we had that whole ordeal go on. So that set me back a year. So I actually went to West Virginia for 5 years. 5 years through.
And then what?
5 years through. Got a pro day. I had an East-West Shrine game invite. Went to an all-star game. I was second team all-conference in the Big 12. Had just recently transitioned within my time going there. That was a big selling point. So was really happy with the results we ended up with, and didn't get the combine invite that everyone gets. Was a little knocked off that. Was a little upset.
That's personal.
Oh, 100%. Everything's pretty personal, but
Do you know the percentage of guys that don't make the combine that get drafted?
I do not.
I know it's super low.
Yeah,
I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but I know it's super low.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That kind of struck you right there, like
Yeah, that's going to be an uphill battle.
uphill battle, right.
Zay didn't get the combine invite either. He was trash though. That's why.
Oh man, no, I seen some highlights. Man. We can play now.
See his huddle.
Oh, huddle! I was pre-huddle.
Pre-huddle.
I was pre-huddle. I was.
You probably had huddle for your college highlights.
we had VCR tapes, man.
Oh,
I just sit out the VCR. I'm dead
He
serious,
aging
bro.
himself
That's
right now.
crazy.
I ain't gonna say my age now.
So you don't get the combine invite. You're still trying to make it to the league.
Yep.
What do you do next? Like, what's the process?
Coming from Hamilton, man, the mindset is always the same. It's that underdog mentality. It's no one's expecting much from you, so you gotta have big belief in yourself. And I think coming from Hamilton, that's what it's given me.
So this is interesting. I'm gonna pause this like point in our conversation to say something that I always get excited about. Right?
Yeah.
The things that you're talking about right now are why I love working with athletes in business. Because as an entrepreneur, you get knocked down, you got to get back up again. Some days I'm on top of the world, cloud 9. 2 days later, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, it's a roller coaster of emotions. And athletes have all of the characteristics of being successful as an entrepreneur.
100%.
It's built in, right? And not to mention, you're so you are the 1% of the 1%. Like, you have to have all of these characteristics. It has to be a perfect storm for you to be able to play at the highest level.
Right.
So for you don't even get a combine invite. You just have to hustle your way into some type of training camp invitation.
Yeah, you get a training camp invite. I think I signed for $5,000, and after taxes, you take home about $2,000
For a year.
That's just for me signing. Like, nothing guaranteed.
Okay.
Like, I'm gonna show up, but I gotten these 2 racks, which is a lot of money to me. You know, fast food was like $2,500. I'm getting that at once. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something. I'm here. I got my foot in the door. I wasn't sweating it too bad.
Okay, then fast forward to your first team.
Yeah. Green Bay actually gave me that opportunity. Ted Thompson was the man leading the way. RIP.
What year did you go to Green Bay?
I came out 2016, so 2017 would have been the first year in the league for me.
Got you.
And then you stick with Green Bay for how long?
Was in Green Bay for 3 years. That third year was a roller coaster. I remember getting cut right out of preseason, then getting signed on by Tennessee. I was there for like a cup of coffee 1 week. Someone got hurt in Green Bay. I'm signed right back to the active.
Wow.
Right after that. So I got to pick up, move again.
Because you're familiar, they're familiar with you, you're familiar with them.
Right, yeah. And there was some contract disputes going on, but got me back, went up there, was happy, making a playoff run. Then I got cut going into that playoff run for a veteran guy, someone that I guess they felt more comfortable with.
Brand new to the organization?
Brand new to the organization at the time.
What did that do to you mentally?
I mean, at the time, it was such a crazy year that I just had to be ready for whatever. I felt like whatever was going to be thrown at me, I felt like it was a bigger plan than I had for myself.
So you put it all on the line for an entire season, and then you get to the good part, and they're like, "Hey, hit the couch."
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the expectation was, I guess, to sign me back to practice squad. Had some good film out there. Miami picked up on it, and they didn't let me come back. So, and I've been here in Miami ever since, going on
Wow.
third year down here in Miami.
And you like it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not much you can't like about Miami.
Gotta say
It's a
that.
little distracting for your boy.
I mean, it's a really nice place. Really great fan base. They care about the team. So I mean, as a football player, I can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. So I kind of want to get into the meat and potatoes. Like,
Okay.
You're 3 years in, 3 years into being on the active roster. What is what makes you want to scratch this entrepreneurial itch right now? Because most guys wait to the end to do anything beyond ball. And in a sense, I get it. The main thing has to be the main thing.
Ball
Yeah.
first.
Ball first, right?
For
but
sure.
That's
but,
how you make your generational wealth.
yeah, right,
So
right,
we
right.
preach that.
But still, if you wait till those checks are not coming in, or you older, and like most guys, that's the path they take. But you being a relatively young guy, what makes you want to build things right now while you're in the prime of your career as a professional athlete?
Right. It was just a total flip in my mindset and mentality, really.
Mhm.
We have a really good player engagement staff over with the Dolphins, one that I hadn't been had the privilege to work with until I got there. And they put on these combines, business combines for the athletes. And I showed up, took a chance, gave my time, and it was the best thing that I could have done for myself at the time. It opened my mind to new avenues that I wasn't even aware of because I was so locked into my
Right.
football role, and it gave me a lot of confidence, I would say, and
I love that.
I needed that confidence, that extra push
Right,
to
right.
actually go and pursue something like that.
So prior to the combine, building a business wasn't even on your mind.
No, no. Maybe like getting a house or something, real
Yeah,
estate
yeah.
wise was on my mind.
Investing passively.
Right, very very passively too, like my spot. I wasn't
Right,
even,
right, 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 right.
so yeah, but just the whole mindset from attending that
Mhm.
whole meeting and being around some of the minds that they let us be around and pick those minds.
Right.
It was priceless. Yeah.
So you're moving on to this next chapter now. Not even next chapter. Like reading 2 chapters at once.
Right. You got
Secondly.
2 books open.
Right. And you're building.
Yep.
What are you building?
Yeah, so I'm building something that sticks close to home to me, which is going to be the combine. When I say combine, I'm not meaning the actual NFL combine. It's going to be a combine for youth athletes, and they're going to be able to identify their athletic DNA while also being able to give them a baseline standard of their athletics.
Okay.
Mm.
That's interesting. So is it a tech platform? Is it an event?
Right. So it's a little bit of both. I mean, it's going to be camps, so there will be events for sure. We're going to want kids
Well,
showing up.
That's where you pull your data.
Right. Yeah. And then we would store that data that we would test these young athletes on, whether it be just pure measurables from arm length to hand size to vertical jump to those lateral quickness drills.
So, okay, pause, because a lot of the people that are going to be watching this show don't know what the NFL combine is. The NBA has a combine?
Yeah, but it's just not as publicized or as important as.
But it's the same
Same
process.
principles.
Okay,
Yeah,
same
yeah.
principles. So you didn't even get invited to NFL combine, but you can tell us what it is.
Yeah. So the combine is pretty much a day geared towards not only the players and their respective testing results and numbers that they'll get, but also teams, GMs, coaches. They get an extra couple of days to see these guys up close and personal, interview these guys. It just gives you an extra chance to see these guys live in action, and they're really going off of those testing results that they're having them
What
run
do they
through.
test?
Yeah, so for NFL, some of the pretty big tests that they like to do are like the 40-yard dash. They do the bench press, vertical jump, long jump, and then some of the change of direction drills, like the 20-yard shuttle, things like
I
that.
want to see how you move.
Yeah,
So it's a
definitely want to
report
see how
card.
you move.
It's a report card for
Definitely,
are you a good fit for our team,
for
for
sure.
the needs that we and then you're kind of buying into a certain player. So you're building that for kids,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
What's the end goal? Like why does this business need to be a thing in the first place?
Sure. I mean, as we were discussing before, for me, it was a lot of extra packing on to my mom. In hindsight, looking back on it, she had not only me, two other kids, and she was a single mom. So I'm sure that put a lot of stress on her, driving me up and down. But she's willing to make that kind of sacrifice for me because I'm her kid, and I think that
To go to the next level.
to go to the next level and pursue my dreams, which was playing football at the time.
And you mentioned how Hamilton get kind of like second fiddle
Yeah.
to some of these bigger schools.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? So what's the point of this business? You're collecting all this information for kids, and are you just sending them home with that information and like that's your secret sauce, or like what's the point? Why should I send my kid to a combine, one of your combines?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this thing's going to be twofold. I mean, you're going to get around athletes that have been there and done that, Division I to the um, professional level, and that's where we kind of want to keep the trainers and kind of that guidance coming from people that have been there and done that.
So personal benefit is the first fold.
Yes.
What's the second fold?
Second fold is going to be that data storage that we're going to have, that baseline that we're giving kids.
What do you do with that information?
We're going to allow kids to have access to that so they know their base levels, so they can kind of track, are they improving over time? When they come to us again, those numbers shouldn't be the same. We should see some improvement somewhere along the line.
Okay, so you're almost like, it's like a return on investment
Right.
to all the money that I'm spending as a parent
Sure.
to level my kid up. Like I grew up playing soccer, and I went to all of the extra trainings and premier soccer beyond the travel and pretty baseline stuff.
Hmm.
But so that data you just basically give it to the kids, or
Yeah, I mean, at the start, we're going to give it to the kids, but the end goal is to give this data directly to colleges, so colleges can now track, are kids putting in that work? Are they taking it as serious so they can protect their investment? Now we got NIL money.
you got
going in now.
NIL. So it's like, so Hamilton, the kid in Hamilton, Ohio, or small town, Kansas,
Mhm.
can potentially take any data that they receive from your combine. Talk to me a little bit about the testing, because is the testing the same across the board?
Oh, absolutely.
It has to be, right?
Has to be.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess,
one
okay, so the
standard
combine
testing.
every year, the NFL
It's the
combine is
same.
always the same.
Yeah. You don't. There's no tricks. You know exactly what you're getting
It's
into.
apples to
exactly
apples,
what
right?
So
you're testing
year over
for.
year, city to city,
Mhm.
you're testing the same exact data. So are you out at all of these? It sounds like a franchise model.
Literally that's what I was going to next. Like the scalability of this thing.
Yeah.
It's rinse and repeat. That's the, when you talk about businesses that can go beyond, like you're building a model that works and can be duplicated in other ways. And Alex hit it on the head. It's franchising. Like,
For sure.
is that the model you're thinking right now?
100%. That's definitely the mindset going into this thing. And like I said, getting those Division I NFL athletes involved in their communities that they may be from, reaching out to them.
So them being the franchisee.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh,
Even if we don't want the NFL guy, maybe that Division I guy that just didn't make it to that
right.
NFL level, got that tryout, but
This
just
could
didn't
be the
stick,
opportunity for them to be able to build something
within their community. Yes,
within their community and for themselves.
100%,
As a business.
100%.
So you're selling a product for youth, but who's your customer segment?
Yeah, the customer is going to have to be the parents. I mean, the parents are the ones that are driving their kids miles to these camps. They're paying for their trainers. I think it's going to be a way for them to protect themselves as well from guys that are kind of scamming
Right.
athletes.
Right. There's a lot of that,
For sure.
But no, you hit it on the head, man. Like there's no stone unturned for parents to see the success of their kids.
It's called overparenting.
It's
It's literally a term.
I don't care what the
Unconditional love.
the net worth of the parent is, the household income. It doesn't matter. I've seen it. I'm coming from a super small town.
Mhm.
Right on the cusp of medium income as a household for my family. 3
Right.
kids. My parents, they would do anything to see us be successful in the sport that we were playing.
Mhm.
And I think that that's an amazing space to be in. From a business lens, is
Yeah,
the customer base is vast.
for sure.
And there's a good a component to it where it's definitely helping the kids grow and be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Do you envision adding some type of personal development piece to this? Because I think that you're having kids come in and be a part of this combine. But
You talked about the videos, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how you're setting them with the feedback.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of camps, you usually show up to the event, and whatever you get in the event, that's it. That's where we kind of want to take it a step further, push that boundary. We want to email you a week after the fact and let you see some actual feedback, and
You
that
can turn this into a
take to your
tech
training.
platform. You can turn this into literally like a social, or not social, but like
an application, a platform,
an application, a
Yeah.
platform
Yeah.
where you're feeding this. It's not coming through emails, but it's feeding. So I see a couple problems that you're solving. One of them is what we talked about, the return on investment stuff, because you're buying all this equipment and all this special treatment and whatever. But then you're also solving a problem. Like, I want to know how much it costs to be a part of these before I say that. Like, it seems like you're
The actual camp.
an actual
Okay.
camp. Like, and maybe you don't have that solidified yet, because
Yeah.
but like, it sounds like you're providing an opportunity for the small town families in Ohio. You said you grew up with a single mother,
Yeah.
in a single parent household. So you're providing opportunity for that parent to also be able to put their kid in an area of opportunity.
Right.
So, that's 2 problems off rip that you're solving. Do you agree with those?
Yeah. For sure.
And so, and then you mentioned the trainers and the people that have been there, done that, the NCAA athlete, the NFL athlete that are facilitating these camps, which is
Yeah.
why I said, like, franchise model. This needs to be franchised if it's not already. So, like, there's really no true instruction manual for how to get your kid to become Adam Pankey,
Yeah.
O-lineman for the Miami
It's
Dolphins.
not out there.
So how are you making money? What are all the different ways that you're making money?
Right. So I mean, from hosting the camps, obviously we'd be getting some
Entry
money from that,
fees.
and the whole idea behind the camp is definitely to make it affordable. That's the biggest goal here, for people to have an affordable way of checks and balances almost.
Do you charge people to hold on to their data?
Yeah.
Is that like a
Subscription.
Yeah. That'd be
is
like a
that do
subscription
you force me
plan.
into that? Like, do I have to do that
I
in order
don't
to be
force
part
you. No, you don't have to do
So
it.
it's
You can just
optional.
get the feedback if you want, but there is some solidified numbers that you'd be able to have some access to and work off of.
And then the big money maker is selling
On
that
the back
to
end.
Ryan Day,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
To the Ohio State to
Right.
say, hey, here's all the best kids in Ohio, or here's all, like, this guy is a 90 percentile in 6th grade for all of these statistics. Like, keep an eye on this dude. Is that what your plan is? Like, that's the goal?
Yeah, that's the end goal, is definitely working hand in hand with colleges and giving these kids that exposure that they're looking for.
So what makes you different? So there's
Bro, you literally in my head. Nike Spark.
all right, go ahead.
That's the biggest elephant in the room. Nike
Yeah.
Spark had a chokehold on high school sports,
Right.
and they failed.
Mhm.
I mean, Nike Spark failed.
Yeah.
What?
They're not around anymore.
No, Nike Spark isn't a thing anymore.
And what was Nike Spark? What do they do?
So Nike Spark was the premier camp that it was invite only. It was invite only. Guys wanted to be at this thing. The biggest thing was the 40-yard dash. There were 707s, but there wasn't. I mean, it was just you perform. That you were the top they gave you a Nike Spark scoring. You know, you want to be 90% or better. But yeah, that was it. That was it. You know, it was just I got to go to this thing, compete to try to be. It was like it was the simplified NFL combine. I want to be that guy in my class.
So is that, maybe I'm answering the question before I even ask it. Like, what's the difference between Nike Spark and
Right.
Combine?
Right. So we would be specifically testing like these movements and measurables, whereas Spark, they kind of got into 7-on-7.
Yeah,
They had
scouts.
some extra.
A scouting event.
Yeah. It
It was
was.
the NFL combine, right?
And who
Right.
runs the Sparks? Is it like Nike personnel?
I think they were partnered with Nike.
Yeah.
So
for
that's
sure.
your unique. That's his unique value proposition. Is these are being run by people that are in the 1% of the 1%.
Right.
They're the guy on the Dolphins. They're the guy that played for Michigan that has, you know, is school leader in sacks,
Right.
or the wide receiver from Charlotte. Shout out to our guy Austin Duke,
For sure.
Austin Duke.
who leads the school history in wide receiving yards. So he's onto something here, I think.
I think he is, bro. Like
So how do you reach? This can't be that expensive to start, because it seems like a cash cow. You just put money into whatever camp, and then after you get equipment and staffing, and I mean, you can even get sponsorship for this, since it's led by you already have athletes that are running camps.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that part of your plan?
Guys running camps
Oh my god.
during their summertime all the time. I mean, we're just. So I mean, it's no surprise that NFL guys want to give back to their communities.
Right.
And I mean, I don't see any better way of coming together and giving back to our communities than being the guys that our communities look up to and being there for them.
So what's your plan to sell this thing? How do you get? What's your channels? How do you get to your customer?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go community based style. We're going to go Facebook. Going to reach out on Facebook. We're going to go to the local radio stations. We're going to be in the
Old school
schools.
marketing.
Yeah, we're
in the
trying to put
trenches.
feet on the ground. Yeah.
And I would imagine word of mouth is pretty strong, because like I remember all the soccer moms were like, oh, my kid is at combine, or my kid's at this training and he's in the 90th percentile. And it's like, now those other parents feel obligated
Right.
to also put their kid through whatever the process is.
I think the only thing about Nike Spark, there wasn't a what's next. Once you compete there, you sit here and sit back and wait. But for you, you're building something that's, I'm assuming, multiple times a year. Where guys can come in and guys and girls, because it's multi-sport, right? It's not just
Right.
football based, right?
Yeah, definitely want to break them up. We don't want people coming in like
Right,
every
right.
month for sure. That's not
Yeah.
how we want to scale it.
So
but
is it yearly, or have you thought about that?
annually, I think I'm still in that process of figuring that out. What's going to be too much and what's going to be too little. So
Testing.
right, I could definitely see twice a year for sure.
Right.
That I could definitely see that.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a built-in what's next in the fact that, first off, I'm competing with myself. I'm competing with
Most
me.
important.
Most important,
Most
right?
important.
I'm competing to be the best version of Isaiah that I could be.
Yeah.
So I think that's a built-in differentiator than most camps.
So I got two more questions for you. First one is, like, how did you get started with this? So there's a lot of athletes that are going to watch this
Yeah.
that are like, okay, did this dude is he like, a born legend, and he just kind of knew the steps to make this happen? Like, where do you start?
I mean, it actually started at the Dolphins Combine. That's where it started at.
But that's a moment in time, right?
Yeah.
So you leave the Dolphins Combine,
Right.
and you don't just come downloaded with all the information. Maybe it's energy and passion.
Right.
But like, what did you do to take that next step?
It's just coming up with a business plan, putting the pen to paper, putting your ideas and thoughts out in front of you, so you can see what's going on, not just keeping it locked in my head.
Yeah, actionable. But you just Googled that?
No, I did.
So you build a team. You it's your wife. Is this you and your girlfriend, fiance? Like,
No, I mean, I'm the CEO of this thing. This is, yeah.
okay. So, my last question is, what advice do you give to other guys and girls out there, whether they're athletes or not, to build and just give me the generalized advice.
Yeah, I mean, I think a good word of advice is just be open to new opportunities when they arise. Don't shy away from them. Don't think you're not able to pull up your chair to whatever party it may be. Just know that you're worthy. So that'd be my biggest advice to someone thinking about maybe jumping into the business space.
And what's next for you? Where do you go from here?
I mean, from here, we got training camp starting up in 2 weeks. So I got that coming up, but I mean, we're going to be brainstorming, man. I'm going to be.
You're still working through the season.
Yeah,
You don't stop.
Yeah, constantly. I just try to stay growing, stay improving, just stay growing. Just that's it. Yeah.
Well, Adam, thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you, Brody.
So you are helping other guys and girls break down these barriers.
Awesome.
And
It's the purpose of this platform.
This conversation is going to go a long way for a lot of people. So I just want to say I appreciate you coming to the show.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
If there's anything we can do for you moving forward, you know where to find us.
Oh,
and we're excited to come back. There's episode 2 of Adam Pankey is going to be.
I want to see when this thing is
when
thriving and going, man.
When Combine matures a little bit,
yeah,
we want to hear all of the progress. So
let's lock it in.
Back in the game, it's evident. Step in the room, I'm an elephant. Run up a bag, I ran up a bag. I gotta go count on some presidents. I'm back on the dirt, the sediment. Back with a baddie, she elegant.
Guys that I've been with since I was playing in first grade. You know, I'm really gonna miss them, but it's just part of growing up, I guess.
Bitch, I'm the revenant. Bitch, I'm the revenant. Ain't this shit evident? Bitch, I'm the revenant. Back on the sediment. Bitch, I'm the oh shit. Ain't that Lord Lost? That's that nigga from that rap shit. New air and my crown fitted, but I still ain't never on no cap shit. Been a captain of my own ship. Back when I ain't have jack shit. Lighting verses since I burned this. Got that Weezy F off of that piss. In the booth, I'm a mastiff. My skill set just massive. I'm a fourth quarter bronze shit. All my niggas hate when I be passive. Camera shy out in Cali, big life moment. Couldn't even grasp it. All the stress took a toll, but when the credits roll, I'ma drop a classic. In my city, gotta blast it. Gotta hear it from the rooftop. Flavor Flav, Big Daddy Kane. I'ma walk